Sanje judo zo jo namla chanjo bodo dane jasu je dawa chen zo je so nam go jola bin jo sanje jo bore sho. Welcome you all to Chotrul the day of the miracle, the holy, the auspicious and holy day of the miracle, the day, the 15th day of the first month of the lunar calendar, when the Buddha Shakyamuni performed innumerable miracles to subdue the evil forces, and that the happiness, the virtue, win over the evil forces. And let us pray on this occasion of Chotrul that the virtue that we gather today be dedicated towards the people who passed away because of the coronavirus, and people who are badly affected by coronavirus, and also people who live in the fear of the spread of coronavirus. In a way, overall speaking, there is a great the new development in terms of the spread of coronavirus becoming less now. It is being mitigated in most places. Let us pray that it further comes under control, and that we can easily, that the people will be freed from the fear of coronavirus. So with this in mind, just for information, what we're going to do here, the Tibet house, because of the coronavirus, the spread, we decided to do this online. So all the participants online, and of course everyone are going to take part in this. And how we're going to do this, the procedure of this is as follows. First, I'm going to give a very quick intro of the Chotrul and then the main procedure of the practice, the practice of the Vajra Moon, or the practice of the aspiration bodhisattva, taking the aspiration ceremony of taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. So this day is a very auspicious day, very special day, and that in 14th century, Lama Tsongkhapa decided to create this day as a remembrance of the Buddhas having performed the miracles. And we need to keep in mind that the Chotrul is the miracles. Tuchen is the great day, the day auspicious, the great day of the miracles. And the story, or the legend, has it that the Buddha Shakyamuni, at one point, they were say the contemporary teachers who were little jealous of the fame of the Buddha Shakyamuni, and they were, of course, mentally perverted, and then just to see how to bring about defamation of the Buddha Shakyamuni. At one point, these 6 teachers, they approached the Buddha and then tried to denigrate the Buddha Shakyamuni. And then they said that you becoming so popular, actually you are a fraud, and so forth. And then they said that today we're going to the proof that you are not really a great teacher. And then they invited Buddha Shakyamuni to compete with them in performing miracles. And they decided on a date, and the Buddha accepted. And on that day, when they approached the Buddha was no more there. Again, the Buddha left somewhere. Then they became even more, arrogant. They approached to look for the Buddha, and finally they again found the Buddha somewhere. Then they tried to just deprecate the Buddha, denounce the Buddha, and again inviting for a competition in performing miracles. Then Buddha accepted. It happened like several times. Every time the Buddha left the place, they become even more arrogant. And then finally, on this day, 15th day of the first month of the lunar calendar, then the Buddha accepted the invitation, and then the actual the competition started. So there, the miracle the Buddha performed was so powerful, so mesmerizing as compared to the team. They are the six teachers, the competitors, and then finally the competitors, they were all subdued. And so this is what happened. Okay, this is the basic background story. Now the point is that if you try to go a little beyond this story, the main teaching of the Buddha, just for information, that the Buddha Shakyamuni, to his disciples, the Buddha was not keen that his disciples perform miracles. In fact, the Buddha, they restricted the disciples, the monks and the nuns, from performing the miracles. And the exception was given that only if there's a great need, where by performing the miracles, then many people can really turn towards the actual path, the spiritual path, the path of liberation, and that is the exempted. Otherwise, for the other true purposes, the Buddha really discouraged his followers from performing miracles. So this being the case, and then the Buddha himself performed so much of miracle here. So we see that in the Buddha's teachings, we can see the beauty, the strength, and the flexibility, and the comprehensiveness of the Buddha's teaching. So the practicality of the Buddha's teachings. So from this we see that when necessary, then the performance of miracles is allowed by the Buddha Shakyamuni. So now, after performing these miracles, then the people will be astounded or mesmerized. And after being mesmerized, what will they do? In what way they are benefited? So then the thing is that their mind will turn towards listening to the teachings of the Buddha. So finally, the purpose is for the people to really follow the teachings given by Buddha, rather than just learning how to perform miracles. And what is this teaching? This question. So the teaching which can actually benefit all sentient beings. So where the Buddha himself made it very clear that the Buddhas do not watch the negativities of the beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands, nor is his realizations transferred to the beings. It is only through teaching the suchness, the truth of the reality, that the beings are liberated. This is what the Buddha himself made it very clear. So finally, all the miseries, ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagato hevatat desham jayu niruta evam vadima ashramana, so all these problems that we go through, including the coronavirus and the problem, so this is all finally rooted to our own ignorance, contaminant karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, and ignorance. So at the core of all these problems is the ignorance. So it is through eradicating this ignorance that these problems should be expected to be gotten rid of. So this ignorance, as I cited, it is through the teaching of the suchness of the truth, the ultimate reality, that the beings are liberated. So this is the basic idea, that the truth should be taught. And so pertaining to this, I would say that the one way by which to remember the Buddha's deeds, the Buddha's activities, the kindness of the Buddha, is best done by the great teachers like Nagarjuna. Every time Nagarjuna, when giving, in his compositions, like the Mula Madhyamika Karika, the fundamental wisdom of the middle way. So there, when he praised the Buddha Shakyamuni, he praised by saying, enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate dharma. To dispel the perverted views, to you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. So there, Nagarjuna did not praise the Buddha Shakyamuni for performing miracles, but for having taught the wisdom the one who taught the and to the great compassion, you taught the immaculate dharma. Immaculate dharma is the wisdom, that wisdom of the ultimate reality, wisdom of the emptiness, wisdom of how everything is like dream. Okay, and this, you see that it's not just in Mula Madhyamika Karika, but in all the major treatises Nagarjuna wrote, there was the salutations always to the Buddha Shakyamuni, for Buddha Shakyamuni having taught the ultimate reality. This is how we have to best remember the Buddha Shakyamuni's biography. On that basis, to see that this is what I should inculcate in my own life to extract the meaning out of my life. And then likewise, we see the Lama Tsongkhapa, he composed this text in praise of dependent origination. So this text, in praise of dependent origination, is the full form of the title of the text is in praise of Buddha Shakyamuni for having taught dependent origination to eradicate all the problems of the beings. So, as for us, the way these great teachers like Nagarjuna and the Buddha Shakya, the Lama Tsongkhapa, the manner in which they remembered Buddha Shakyamuni, we're also going to remember Buddha Shakyamuni for his having taught dependent origination, which we're going to recite as a part of this ceremony in praise of dependent origination, which is included in this book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas. And I'm sure all of us who are taking part in the ceremony, they're online for the reason because of the coronavirus, the problem, and then there's a danger of the possible danger of disseminating or spreading. There's to avoid that, so we are doing this purely online. And so therefore, I'm sure that all of us, we have this book. If you have it, well and good. I'm going to indicate the page numbers. If not, don't worry. Just listen to what reading when I'm reading, and then just take part in this. Finally, the good qualities of the mind, mental good qualities that we invoked. If these are invoked, the purpose of our being together, to remember the Buddha Shakyamuni of this, the day, the auspicious, the holy day of the miracles, is Chotrul Monlam is going to be fulfilled. This one part. Then the actual event of this Chotrul Monlam, we're going to do the Bodhisattva, undertake the ceremony of the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, which most of you already know that 2013, when one morning I was called by the secretary of His Holiness the Dalai Lama when His Holiness was here in Delhi, and then I just rushed to His Holiness's the place here, hotel here, and then His Holiness gave me a lengthy instruction about what Tibet House should be doing and so forth. And as a part of that, His Holiness advised that the ceremony of undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, if you can do it during the bigger crowd or group, whenever the group come together. So this is the advice of His Holiness, one. And then in practical terms, the way the Buddha Shakyamuni himself very clearly indicated in the sutra, the compendium of the contacts, that the bodhisattvas should not learn many things if they practice just one thing. If they practice just one thing, then all the good qualities will be gathered in the palm of him or her. So and then rhetorically, the Buddha asks, what is that one thing? It's a great compassion. So the Buddha Shakyamuni and all these great teachers, they highly talked about the great compassion as finally the practice of great compassion as a quality which has the capacity to attract all the good qualities, and the first person to receive the benefit would be individual practitioner. Whoever practices this compassion, you're going to be the first recipient of this, the whole benefit. And then likewise your family members and everyone who's going to be connected with you, and all sentient beings, they're going to be benefit. This is the greatest meaning of one's life. So we're going to do what is this practice of undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, which is so on the auspicious for all of us, and I'm very fortunate. Each one of us, we are all very fortunate that on this holy day that we are doing this practice together, and we're going to accumulate enormous collective karma of becoming enlightened together for the benefit of ultimate ascension beings. So this is what we're going to do. So as a part of this practice, let us do the setting a proper motivation. Setting proper motivation. 3 points to keep in mind. 1, the refuge field. Number 2, the bodhicitta field. Number 3, the purpose of this practice. First, the refuge field. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And I'm going to mention some of the names. And if you're aware of these enlightened beings, well and good. If not, don't worry. Just visualize the whole sky in front of you, the space in front of you, filled with all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and 2 of them surrounded by Ara Maitreya, Ara Manjushri, Medicine Buddha, Ara Avalokiteshvara, Ara Vajrapani, Ara Tara, Ara Kishidagarbha, Ara Akashagarbha, Ara Samudrabhadra, Ara Nagarjuna, Ara Deva, Acharya Buddha Palita, Acharya Bhaviveka, Acharya Chandrakirti, Ara Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu, Acharya Dignaga, Acharya Dharmakirti, Acharya Haribhadra, Acharya Shakyaprabha, Acharya Gunaprabha, Acharya Bodhisattva Shanti Deva, Acharya Bodhisattva Shanti Rakshita, Acharya Kamal Shil, Lama Selingpa from Indonesia, Lama Disha Dibingur Shiriyana, Guru Padma Sambhava, Sakya Pandita, Sajan Kunganyingbo, Jesu Tilupa, Jesu Naropa, Jesu Marpa, Jesu Mila, Jesu Napolache, Lama Tsongkhapa, Gyaltsa Rinpoche, Kyatru Rinpoche, and all the enlightened teachers, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of us, and how you visualize them, that makes all difference. Visualize them as your very affectionate parents, and imagine that you come home demoralized, being bullied by the elder student in school, and your parents are waiting there at home to embrace you, to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace. Bodhicitta field. Visualize your two parents on the two sides, and all of family members, including your children, and everyone here in their own place, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe, everyone, all sentient beings living on a side, and in particularly the difficult ones, and how you visualize them. Here, you are the mother, and all others are like your children, and imagine they come home demoralized, and you are there. You are there to give full love, affection, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace. To the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. The purpose of this practice is to awaken this incredibly precious treasure of the Buddha nature that exists within each one of us. In this world, there's no comparison in terms of the preciousness with this Buddha nature inside us, the most precious treasure. It's like a gold mixed with the mud. While the nature of the gold is to glow, but the fact that it's mixed with the mud, it doesn't glow. Simply because it doesn't glow doesn't mean that there's no gold there. Only the gold experts will say that there's gold there. And how does the gold expert prove? We'll remove the mud from this gold. As the mud is removed more and more, the gold itself will start to glow. Then you'll realize that yes, there's a gold there. Likewise, our mind is mixed. The true nature of this, the Buddha nature within us, which is like the very pure gold, is mixed with the mud of the mental defilements. And if this true nature becomes manifest, each one of us, we are freed from the coronavirus, we are freed from anything, we are freed from everything from affecting us. We become fearless. No fear will grab us. We'll be freed from the ensnarement of all the fears. And that the mind feels the greatest of the ease, no obstruction. That is the infinite happiness. These two are the things which everyone on this earth, everyone is seeking. They have this potential. And yet, due to our failure to meet with the correct teaching, we fail to look for the correct remedies to remove this mud of the mental defilements. How to remove these mental defilements? How do we remove the mud of the mental defilements? For that matter, we need to know, first of all, we need to identify the nature of the mental defilements. And the mental defilements are of two kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross one, like the solid garlic when smashed in a mug. I don't eat garlic, say. And then the person is apologetic, will remove the garlic and wash it so well. Now there's no solid garlic left there, but it still smells garlic. Likewise, our mental defilements is of two kinds, like the solid garlic and the smell of the garlic. Solid garlic, like the mental defilement, is known as afflictive obscurations. And the presence of this afflictive obscurations, or the solid garlic like mental defilements, is the one which stops us from experiencing fearlessness, experiencing freedom from all the miseries. And the subtle smell of the garlic-like mental defilements, also referred to as the cognitive obscurations, the presence of this stops us from achieving the infinite happiness of the Buddhahood. And to eradicate each one of them, we need to identify them so well. So the first one, gross one, afflictive obscurations, it is of three kinds: contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds of the two. And all these three somehow hover around self-grasping ignorance. So the remedy to overcome this afflictive obscurations is to employ the counterforce of the self-grasping ignorance, which is the wisdom of emptiness. So therefore, the study, reflection, and meditation on the wisdom of emptiness plays a very important role in our life to extract the greatest meaning of one's life. So this wisdom must be complemented. It must be driven by the force of renunciation in order to get it rid of the afflictive obscurations, so that mental fears will be got rid of fully. Then on the other hand, we have the cognitive obscurations. Because given that this is the subtle stains of the ignorance, afflictions, contaminant karmas, the remedy remains the same, the wisdom of emptiness, but the driving force must be extremely, extremely powerful. There is none other than the bodhicitta, the altruistic mind of altruistic bodhicitta which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of the sentient beings. And this must be supported, must be triggered by the power of great compassion, which in turn must be grounded on the renunciation. So this is the seeing the purpose of this practice, eventually to restore to the remedies, to overcome the defilements, and that let this Buddha nature become manifest into the form of the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness. Okay. With this in mind, let us turn to page 3 of the book, page 3 of the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhisattvas. If you have it, well and good. If not, as I recite this, then just listen to me. And as we recite this, there are 3 ways of reciting it. Number 1, just reciting the words. Number 2, reciting the words. Meanwhile, the meanings are reflected. Number 3, words are said, meanings are reflected, and realizations, or the experiences invoked. Of the 3, the best would be the third, if not at least the second one. For the third, we should have some degree of experience, some degree of the long-term meditation experience. Otherwise, the second one is also very good. Okay, with that in mind, you are leading this, and imagine that all your dear sentient beings, including parents, your children, and everyone, you're inspiring everyone to join you on this Chotrul teaching, to accumulate enormous merit to extract the greatest meaning out of one's life today. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. The next. Sangye juda zoge chonam no chanju bardo dane gyabsu je dage jinso kebe chonam ge tola penjere sangye jubarai shu sangye juda zoge chonam no chanju bardo dane gyabsu je dage jinso kebe chonam ge Tola penjere sanje jubarai shu sanje juda zoge chonam na chanju bardo dane gyabsu je dage jinso kebe chonam ge Tola penjere sanje jubarai shu. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations for practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations for practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations for practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is afraid of elaborations. Okay, today on this auspicious day, I'd like to explain this stanza, which is a word of salutation of our Nagarjuna to the Buddha Shakyamuni in his text, Mula Madhyamika Karika. This is so precious and, of course, a little complicated. So I'm sure that most of the people who are attending this ceremony, the program at the ceremony through online, I'm sure that most of you are those who are doing not only the master's course and not only the diploma course, and even if you're not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to explain this, and then for some of you it may be a little easy after studying Acharya Chandrakirti, this text of Mula Madhyamika Karika, the Madhyamika Avatar, and for others, let's see. And even for us, not only you, for me also, you're going through this, and reflecting on these meanings, it implants a very profound seed of liberation, seed of freedom, a seed of freedom from the suffering, and the seed of the incredibly great compassion towards all demon sentient beings. Okay. So basically what is said here, this is the word of salutation by Nagarjuna to Buddha Shakyamuni. And let us see how Nagarjuna praised the Buddha Shakyamuni for what? Not for, let's say, the performing miracles, but of course the performing miracles. Today is the miracle day, and this is like the same, the way and the manner in which Acharya Kamalashil very clearly indicated in the middle section, a treatise on the meditation. So there he said that all teachings of the Buddha somehow they will either point to the ultimate reality, or they will lead to ultimate reality, or they will establish you into the ultimate reality. All teachings of Buddha somehow should be related to that. Either they will point to the ultimate reality, or lead to the ultimate reality, or establish you into the ultimate reality. For example, let's say of the four seals, where the Buddha taught, all composite things are impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering nature, everything is in nature empty and selflessness, transcending soul is absolute peace. So there, the first and the second, that all composite things are impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering nature. These two will point to the ultimate reality, will point to ultimate reality, meaning that, say that you are very far, say 2 kilometers away from Mount Everest. So somebody says, okay, that is Mount Everest. So from distance, somebody identifies what Mount Everest is like. And then the next, everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. So these two understanding, the gross emptiness and the gross selflessness, so these will take you there, lead you towards the ultimate reality. And by understanding these two, emptiness and selflessness, combined together will take us to the ultimate reality, which is the emptiness of objective existence. So that is when you are established into the ultimate reality. So this is the what we need to keep in mind. So with this in mind, the Buddha, Nagarjuna, seeing that all the teachings of the Buddha somehow they are related to the establishing of the ultimate reality. So now here, to understand the ultimate reality so well, ultimate reality, meaning that there's nothing really there and the objective, everything is like a dream. So say you have all the problems that we go through in the dream, it is all the problems that we go through in our life, in the same, it is very much like the problems that we go in our dreams. In our dreams, as long as we don't wake up, we will continue to suffer. So if you really want to get out of the problems in the dream altogether, then you have to wake up. So likewise, we have to wake up from the sleep of the ignorance which continues to project things. The way the dream is projected by your own mind, likewise everything that we see around, they are all projected by our mind. So when you say they're projected by mind, then the potential, the danger, the people can slide down into potential danger of nihilism. So to distinguish the two, that projection by a mind, like a dream projecting, the dreaming mind projecting the dream. So this projection is of two kinds. One, the projection where the cause and effect does not operate, where the cause and effect is disrupted. So for example, like you just imagine all the imaginations. You imagine that you are just you are just a god. You are just even though we are samsaric beings, still we can just imagine we are Buddhas and so forth. These are all just imagination where the cause and effect are not followed. So that is known as nihilism. Whereas there is another category of subjectivity where the cause and effect follows infallibly. Cause and effect is being followed. Is being followed. In other words, dependent origination, the infallible dependent origination operates. So that is the real. If if we see things in the light of dependent origination, in the light of mere projection, in the fabric of dependent origination, and then on that basis, if you understand that nothing really exists objectively, this is the understanding of the real emptiness or the real ultimate reality. So for that matter, we need to see the two things. They're, on the one hand, emptiness, on the other hand, dependent origination. In other words, the two sides of the same coin. One side is emptiness, one side is dependent origination. So, Nagarjuna in this stanza is teaching us the two sides of dependent, the need for us to understand the two sides of dependent origination. Emptiness without understanding dependent origination, it is nihilism. It is not real understanding of emptiness. Only when that is seen with the dependent origination on the other side, then we see that this understanding of emptiness is the understanding of the ultimate reality and has the potential to get rid of all our suffering. So, what is said here is that in the two sides, one is the emptiness side and the other dependent origination side. On the side of dependent origination, everything what is happening in this world, in this universe, it is all happening through the web of dependent origination. So the dependent origination is operating there. When you say dependent origination is operating, then the other side of that is emptiness of independent existence. There's no independent there because everything is dependent. Everything is empty of independence. So emptiness is seen automatically while seeing the fabric of dependent origination governing the whole the gamut of the universe. So with this in mind, so what we see in this universe, for example, like the arising and ceasing, say 2020 arises and 2019 ceases, and then say a young child becomes a youth, and the infancy has ceased, and the youth becomes old. The old age arises, and the youth ceases. So this is how the universe is operating. All composite things are impermanent. This is what it's all about. This is the aspect of the universe, how all the composite phenomena in the universe, they're operating in the form of arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing. This is how the universe is operating. So within that, then we see that some of the things like the mind, which exists as, say, the eternal, which exists as, say, the always there, and then some things they disappear altogether completely, and then they say coming and going. We see that, okay, when we see things, good things coming to you, you're happy. Bad things coming to you, you feel unhappy. Good things going away from you, you are unhappy. And the bad things going away from you are happy. So again, we see that our emotional states, they are determined by the state of the coming and going. And then no separateness or no sameness. Separateness and sameness. So people fight over the craving for separateness. For example, some people divorce, people crave that I don't want to be with that person. And some of the nations, they say, no, we are not one country, we are different countries. And some nations say, no, we are one country. For example, the unification of Germany. So we see that some people, they crave for the sameness, some people, they crave for the differentness. This is how, again, the emotions are being fluctuated. So this is how this universe is operating on the basis of the basic framework of the arising and ceasing, then annihilation and permanence, coming and going, then oneness and separateness. This is how these are known as the eight factors of dependent origination. 8 factors of dependent origination, which governs the universe and the sentient beings within the universe. And all these are operating where? On the dependent origination level, which means empty of independent existence, empty of objective existence. If nothing is really objectively there, everything is operating dependently, everything is subjectively real. Subjectively real means like a dream. Just a dream is mental, what your mind, subjective mind projects. Likewise, everything is subjective. If you realize this, then we see that our mental agitation stops. The moment you wake up, you realize that the dream is dream. You realize the dream is dream only when you wake up. When you realize the dream is dream, that happens when you wake up. When you wake up, the dream does not affect you at all. The dream stops to affect you. This is when you gain the total freedom. This is known as nirvana, liberation. Whereas in the dream, you see the dream as real. As long as you see the dream as real, then we are constantly being affected by the dream. So that is the loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is samsara, that is misery. Okay, so what is taught here is that while the universe is operating in the web of the dependent origination, those who fail to see that as operating by means of dependent origination, they'll be trapped in samsara. Whereas those who see this world operating in the gamut of the dependent origination, these beings will be freed because they objectively, you see that there's nothing really operating there to affect you. When you realize that, then your mind will be freed of being affected by any external factors. So disturbance stops. When the disturbance stops, the peace is experienced. That is the greatest experience of the peace. So, who taught this experience? Who taught that nothing really exists from the object? There should be nothing there from the object to affect you. You wake up and you'll realize that. Who taught this? It is the Buddha Shakyamuni who taught this on this earth for the first time in the history of the humanity. So, the teacher of all the teachers, what kind of teacher that we are seeking? Teacher means to help us, to guide, to teach us the correct path, the aspired goal, aspired aspiration. And what is the greatest aspiration that you have? Aspiration is get rid of all my suffering. And anybody who can teach you that path, that is greatest of the teacher. So, the Nagarjuna praised the Buddha Shakyamuni, saying that you are the one, the unsurpassed teacher, the consummate teacher, unsurpassed, the unexcelled teacher, who taught this freedom, this peace, which is freed of any elaboration, which otherwise would affect us by teaching how everything is like a dream, how everything is subjective real, subject dependence on the subjectivity, empty of objectivity. So this is what you're taught. This is the meaning here. So if we can say this stanza, and as we read this stanza, first I'll read it, and then we'll all read this together. As we read it together, try to reflect on meanings, and then on that basis, try to feel that I'm very, very, each one of us, we are very, very, very fortunate in this life to have met with the teaching of Nagarjuna, who in turn explained this dreamlike nature of phenomena and how we can possibly wake up from the sleep of ignorance the way the Buddha Shakyamuni taught us. Okay, so this is how we have to remember the Buddha Shakyamuni on this day. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. Okay, now we'll all say this together 3 times, not 3 times, 1 time. Meanwhile, try to remember the meaning that all these, how things affect me by seeing the ceasing and arising, annihilation, permanence, coming, going, separateness and sameness, how seeing these as objective real affect me, and because of which my mind is in constant turbulence, the disturbance. And then the moment I wake up, seeing everything as the web of the dependent origination, nothing independently there, like a pure subjectivity, when I see the emptiness from the object cannot really affect me. This is the real freedom. Okay, with this mind, let us recite this once more. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seek pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes was helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subdue us expand a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by others to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, let us recite this mantra, Ye Dharma mantra. This is so precious, and particularly on this auspicious day, very holy day, reciting this mantra, extremely precious mantra, and remembering the meaning, recalling the meaning of the mantra is very important, very beneficial, extremely fortunate. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. The meaning of the mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-light and non-composite. Such a nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I be obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of expansive billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, let us turn to page 14, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. And as we recite this, the whole purpose of recitation is not to make the Buddha happy by praising him, not for that matter, whether it be praise, no praise. For Buddha, there's no difference. He's already transcended the praise and the deprecation. The purpose for us is to see on what basis the Buddha Shakyamuni is being praised, on what basis, what are the qualities on the basis of which the Buddha is being praised, and then see if you have some of these qualities within yourself. If you do have, rejoice, and see how to nurture them further. Whereas if you don't find these qualities within you, never mind. See how to cultivate these qualities within yourself, and the ones cultivated, see how to nurture them further. So this whole purpose, this is how we follow the path. Gate, parasangate, bodhisattva, by seeing the Buddha Shakyamuni as a role model. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, full destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, know the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, are prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace our 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you are prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Lustre like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, wholly feel qualified with realizations, or are devoted to the broad precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is a teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream of flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, let us recite the Heart Sutra mantra. Page 31. As we recite the Heart Sutra mantra, just visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara. Come to its ultimate happiness. State of fearlessness and ultimate happiness. And you hearing this melodious voice of Buddha Shakyamuni, you inspire your 2 parents, you inspire your children, you inspire all the dear sentient beings, leaving that aside, informing them, look, this is what a compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Let us not remain in fears of samsara anymore. Let us all go towards ultimate happiness. Come along with me. Come. And everybody, hearing what you are saying, yes, they are so inspired, and they follow you to follow this path of cleansing the mind, the journey, undertaking the journey of cleansing the mind by taking by resorting to wisdom of emptiness, driven by the force of bodhicitta. Let's say this 7 times together, and you're leading this, and all the Buddhas are watching us. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata 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 Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha. Okay, let us read page 37. Page 37, the seven limb puja, the seven practice. It is to prepare us in undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. These 7 points or the practices are the best ways by which to eradicate all the mental defilements and to prepare us to accumulate so much of merit within a short span of time to undertake this journey of the Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samadhi Bodhisvaha. And again, you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining you. I bow down to the youthful Manjushri, you the Buddha, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down, with the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas numberless as atoms. Each of them is the host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With the infinite ocean of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugandhas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, offered to you victorious ones of Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfume, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array offered to you victorious ones, with transcendent offerings peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these are openly laid bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and of also ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you, who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha's teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, the foundation of all good qualities. This is the comprehensive path which we are to practice in order to undertake this journey towards Buddhahood, the journey of the ultimate happiness, journey of fearlessness, and this is the comprehensive path. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and a perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to chant with the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous or non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Let by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pradimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so for all mother my creature beings, please bless me to see this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing my greater beings. Even if I have developed Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, Please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate clearly within my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I've become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I could attain the state of Vajratara. Okay, so now what we do is that generating the mind of consummate yoga, the Tamje Nechuk Semkyapa, this is the undertaking the ceremony of the taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. We are very, very, very fortunate. In fact, personally, just for information, I already took this morning. Now I'm doing it second time with all of you here. So this is how we make the most out of our lives. And so we do this, and there are 4 things for us to do. Whatever tradition that you're following, whether you're following Theravada tradition, whether you're following the Chinese minor tradition, whether you're following the tradition, Tibetan Buddhism, within Tibetan Buddhism, Sakya, Kakyu, Nyingma, there's no difference. The thing is that we need to have these 4 points. So whatever tradition that you're following, as long as you want to achieve let your Buddha nature become manifest in its complete form, which means Buddhahood. If you want to achieve Buddhahood, the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness, and of course, this is what the wise people, or what wise people would not follow this path towards the Buddhahood. For that matter, we need 4 points. Let me put it like this. The wisdom, the two wings of the bird to cross the ocean of samsara, to cross the ocean of the mental defilements. The 2 wings. One is method and the wisdom. So the wisdom side, we have the wisdom of emptiness, and then this wisdom must be supported by very powerful stability practice, like the light. This light or the candle flame must be supported by the stability. The wind should not be blowing it. You should not be making it the flickering. So there must be stability. For this stability, we need a single-pointed meditation. In other words, wisdom of emptiness supported by single-pointed meditation. So wisdom of emptiness is one thing, and the single-pointed meditation or the shamatha meditation is number 2. Then for the motivation, this wisdom, very powerful, extremely sharp X like the wisdom, it must be used by a very the strong woodcutter to cut this poisonous tree of the afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations. So the woodcutter must have a very strong woodcutter. So this strong woodcutter, this is the strong-willed woodcutter. That is the metaphor for the bodhicitta, a very strong aspiration, a very strong determination to become Buddha for the benefit of human sentient beings. And this is point number 1. This is the next point, bodhicitta. And in order to experience the bodhicitta, the altruistic wish to benefit all sentient beings, we must have the first experience, we must have the sense of renunciation related to yourself. With respect to your suffering, when you see that your suffering is so acute, so scary and extremely disturbing, very scary, only then when you see the same in others, then the bodhicitta can arise. So this bodhicitta must be supported by renunciation. So we need to have the wisdom, single-pointed wisdom, emptiness, single-pointed meditation, bodhicitta, and the renunciation. So what we do is that we're going to do the first with the single-pointed meditation, 5 minutes breathing meditation. And of course, I'm sure most of you who are doing this with me now. You are from Nalan Master's course, Nalan Diploma course. I'm not going to give a detailed explanation of the procedures for the single point of meditation. Just let's be very mindful, let us be watchful of our mind, whether it is being swayed by the flaws, the two errors of meditation, mental excitement and mental laxity. And should you be swayed by any of these two, make sure that you apply the remedies, introspection, mindfulness. Okay, 5 minutes. And so, although you are doing it online, that would be wonderful if you can. Why not? We do it, and then this is how we make the most out of at least this holy, very precious day today. Okay, ready? Okay, as a part of the next, as a part of renunciation, we'll do the meditation and renunciation on the basis of the four seals. So there's going to be guided meditation with instruction. In all these, the three meditations, one is the four seals for renunciation, followed by bodhicitta on the basis of the four immeasurables with the bodhicitta commitment, then followed by emptiness, and then the taking the aspiration bodhicitta vow. In all these three cases, it's going to be a guided meditation, because of which to make the most of what that this little time that we're spending together here, let us make it a point that our mind does not really ruminate over the past experiences. Just be in the present moment. Stop yourself from ruminating over the past experiences, and stop yourself from anticipating for anything of the future, and dissociate yourself from the five sensory objects. Be in the present moment and follow the instructions. And the whatever instructions given at the very present moment, just follow that, and don't try to correlate the things of what you've learned earlier, what is being said today. Just stop all these things, just follow instructions to the best you can, and as much as possible try to invoke the respective experiences. So the more you're able to invoke the experience, more the benefit. Okay, with this mind, again, you are leading this, and all your demon sentient beings are joining you. Renunciation. Renunciation is the primary mind which aspires to renounce all the sufferings. It's not to renounce the happiness, it's to renounce all your sufferings, thereby become fearless. For that matter, we need to identify and eradicate the causes of the miseries, as indicated by the Buddha in the dependent origination mantra, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena, particularly the phenomena of suffering, they arise from the causes. They don't arise randomly. They arise from the respective causes. So the best way by which to identify and eradicate the causes is by following by reflecting, doing a reflective meditation on the four seals. The first, all composite things impermanent. Recall your time 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when you were young, when each one of us when we were young. And today, after 20 years, after 30 years, many of the people who we know, they disappeared from this earth. For many of us, 2019 was a beautiful year. It's gone now, gone forever. And many of the people who are affected by coronavirus, who died out of coronavirus, near and dear ones who are left behind, they miss them, this impermanence. Likewise, epidemic, pandemic happened so many times in the history of humanity. Likewise, many disappear. So much of pain with the people who are dying and who are left behind. They miss the near one so much. In short, this is what the Buddha indicated as all composite things impermanent. That the people on this earth 200 years ago, perhaps 5 billion human beings on this earth, or 4 billion human beings on this earth 200 years ago. Today, not even a single person is left. This is reality. Don't be afraid to know the reality. Know the reality, and the reality is not really sweet. And knowing that the reality is not sweet, we can put effort to get out of this sour, like the bitterness of the reality of samsara. 200 years ago, there was somebody like just one day old child, infant, some in the teenage, some in the 20s, teenage going to schools, in the 20s struggling for the colleges, universities, and for jobs. Then in their 30s, struggling with the family. In their 40s, worrying about their children. Some anticipating for the so much of expectations, plans for the children, their career, and so forth. And then finally they disappear. So all these people in the different range of age, today, not even a single one is left, whether their dreams, aspirations, plans are accomplished or not, all are gone, and this is the reality. Just think of those people who you love so much and disappeared from your life. Just think of those, and this is exactly what happened. 5 billion human beings 200 years ago, not even a single person left today. And it's not that they are unfortunate. We also follow suit. 200 years in the future, seven billion human beings on this earth today, not even a single person going to be left then. All are going to disappear, guaranteed. And in most cases, 99% of the people on this earth today, after 200 years, nobody's going to even remember each one of us. This is the part of the impermanence. This is reality. And those people who can see this impermanence from a very broad range of time, broad range of space, they are known as the matured people. They are known as the matured and noble people, noble beings, realized beings. And with this impermanence, the inevitable change that is happening, that has governed this universe, the vivid change, the manifest change, the evident change is possible only if there's a change happening on a daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute, second by second. And the change that happens, all the composite phenomena, how we see the second hand moving in the watch, tick, 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 tick. This is how all the composite phenomena, they are changing. And even faster, 1 millisecond is nothing but made of 1,000 one second is made of 1,000 milliseconds. And how fast these 1,000 moments of the milliseconds, they don't arise simultaneously, they arise sequentially, which means that they are so fast. This is how all the composite phenomena, they just move so fast. No composite phenomena is static. All composite phenomena, they move so fast. This is what the Buddha meant by all composite things impermanent. Think of that. It's very scary. This is how whole the universe, your body, your mind, and the people around you, their body, their minds, and the world in which we live, all composite, they're moving so fast. And who can see that? Those who can really see that, not necessarily directly, but who can really visualize, you can really conceptualize this, what is really happening, you are known as a realized being. This will take us to follow the path, kate para samgade bodhi soha. It's very scary. Yes, it is so scary. It is like, I said, There's somebody picked you up from the train station and throws you into a very fast moving train. What's the state of mind? So much of fear. The fear of faster the train, the more the fear. Where is this train taking me? The faster train, the more the fear. Okay, who decides where this train is going to take you? That's about the train driver. If the driver is your mother, no doubt it'll take only to your picnic spot. But unfortunately, if it is the terrorists, they'll only take you to the slaughterhouse. In our case, a driver which the mind is under dictate of the worst of the terrorists, the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude, the worst of the mental defilements, worst of the mental contaminations. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are suffering nature. As long as we are under the contaminations of the mental defilements, particularly the two demons, the worst of contaminations, self-grasping in a self-centered attitude, there's no freedom. It's only miseries. Miseries like what? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety. For example, the anxiety and the fear people have over the coronavirus. Look at all these, what is happening nowadays. The face masks all gone. Nobody can get the face mask. We don't get the sanitizer. Everybody's so scared that they buy everything. So this tells us the fear, amount of fear that people have. And imagine that one of your family members is hit with this coronavirus, and you are hit with this coronavirus. What's the fear like? They are just multiplied by millions of times. So scary, so much of fear, so much of pain. It's just one example. This is just one part of the mirror of what samsara is like. In a way, while this is not a good story, but in a way, it's a great reminder for all of us. It's not to be contemptuous of those people who are affected by the coronavirus, but the fact that if this is what happens, how can we predict what the next 10 years, what the next 20 years, 30 years, any other virus can come up, and which can be as fastly spread and as fatal, as worse in the fatality rate. We never know what will come next. Oh, if this is what's the reality, it's very scary. Yes, of course, this is so scary. This is meaning of samsara. And we just live in the world of illusion. Ignorance is bliss. The way we feel so comfortable. Today, this coronavirus is a reminder for us that samsara is not a pleasant place for us to live in. This is a great reminder. The more you see of the future, the more you see of the potential dangers. This is what the meaning of the realized being. Whereas, just imagine, just visualizing that this coronavirus just comes to an end, and then our problem is over. This is just how those childish things. They cannot really imagine what could be the potential dangers. As long as we have the contaminated karmas, as long as we are under the sway of the two demons, contamination, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, we will never be freed from these problems. In one way or the other, the worst of the problems are awaiting us. This is the reality. Those people who could realize this, the overall picture of what this universe, the nastiness, the viciousness of this the samsaric cycle, the more you realize that, more you are treated as the realized noble beings. These beings will follow the path towards the ultimate freedom. This is wise people. Okay, that's amazing. In a way, I'm so fortunate that we are born in this era where the coronavirus is happening and so much fear is happening, because of which I get a small mirror to see what the samsara is like, what these two demons are doing to us, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. But how can I bring an end to this completely, to this fear completely? And even if the coronavirus comes to an end, but the loss of near and dear ones is bound to happen to us one day or the other day. This is what is bound to happen. Just imagine the pain, this fear of the coronavirus, because we don't want to see the loss of the near and dear ones. We don't want to see the loss of oneself. And yet, this is what is bound to happen. This is reality. Those who can just imagine this reality way ahead of time, they are known as realized beings. Yes, now I can imagine that. It's so painful to imagine the whole samsara. So when will this come to an end? It will never come to an end. It's just a perpetuating video, a perpetuating cinema. It's just an endless cinema. The biography of sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, played over and over and over again endlessly. Isn't there any way out then? Of course there is way out. Unless we put effort, there's no automatic way out. It'll just perpetuate on its own. This is the meaning of the wheel of life. The wheel, where there's no beginning, it's just endlessly moving. Only if you put some effort, then we can expect to bring an end to this. What kind of effort? The Buddha indicated that all these problems are because of the ignorance. And Desham Jayo Nirodha Evam Vati Ma Sharmana Soha. The cessation of these problems, the causes of these problems, are also taught by the great seer. How to bring this cessation? But I bring the cessation of the ultimate cause. How to bring what's the ultimate cause? Self-grasping ignorance and its subtle stains. How to bring an end to this? By introducing counter force. What is the counter force? The wisdom of the reality. What is this wisdom? The wisdom, the mind, the discerning mind, whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? That everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness, the way the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay, it's a great opportunity for all of us. Amazing. Imagine that you're craving to get out of this, the fear of tuberculosis, and you are never getting the antibiotics. And finally, after so much of time in struggling to get the antibiotic, finally you get this medicine. What a relief. How precious this antibiotic is for you. This is exactly, we are now getting antibiotics of the self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains, the wisdom of emptiness. Why not we make the most of this time of meditating on the emptiness, the way the Buddha taught, so compassionately taught as the third seal. Okay. Let us meditate on the emptiness of the self. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is mind doing? My mind is meditating. My mind is meditating. What is body doing? My body is in a meditative posture. Okay. How does this person appear to you? How does this person who you refer to as I appear to you now? Like a dream? Your mind is projecting it? Or no way. It's so objectified there. It's so solidified there. Of course, it is so solidified, objectified there. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. Seeing and believing that this self exists is so objectified and solidified there. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. How can I know that this self-grasping ignorance? How come that this is not a valid mind? Remember what Arjuna said. If this self would exist objectively, 100% from the object, not at all from the subject, if it pure from the object, then the closer you go towards the object, you should be able to find it. The way Arjuna taught in Ratnamala. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If this person would exist objectively, why don't I see the person as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object to see if this self exists subjectively. This analysis is known as ultimate analysis. If you do find something as a self with this analysis, then you are saying the self is objectively real. Whereas if you don't find that there's no way by which to find such a self there through this analysis, you are seeing the emptiness of the self. You are seeing the ultimate reality of the self. Okay. Let us now proceed through this analysis by going beyond the conventional analysis, Going beyond the conventional analysis, convention of the self, what the self is, what are you doing? I'm here, I'm meditating. Okay, this is the conventional way of seeing the self to be there. Now cross this, you cross the border of conventionality. Crossing the border of conventionality, you go into the ultimate. Okay, in this ultimate, whatever is not the self, just ignore them. First, you see a very thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not me. Behind that, the fatty tissues, not me. Behind that, the muscles, cartilages, not me. The blood vessels, the bones, the skeleton, the skull, the brain, heart, lungs, spleen, pancreas, liver, gallbladder, stomach, intestine. None of these solid parts constitute this. None of these solid parts is me. Keep them aside. These solid parts constitute the element of earth. Element of earth is not me. Keep them aside. They have their own functions. That's it. Keep them aside. Element of water. 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of fire. The body heat. 2,500 joules of energy in our body. Of course, that is not me. People can see me. People cannot see my body heat. And body heat can increase and decrease. But I don't increase or decrease. So even the body heat is even the element of fire is also not me. Keep that aside. Element of air, 4.5 liters of air that we breathe in and out through our lungs. Of course, it is not me. Keep that aside. And the space. Our body is made of 99.99% space. Our body is made of 50 trillion cells. And these cells are made of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms. And the atoms, the majority of the major part of the atoms is space. But space is vacuum in nature. I'm a solid person, so therefore I'm not a space. So remove the element of the space. What is left now? Only the element of consciousness is left. My mind is left. Even that is also not me. I'm a male. I'm a female. My mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of my body. And people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So therefore, even this consciousness or the mind is also not me. Keep that aside. Okay, what is left now? You have now come too close to the object. If the mirage were the water, or not those close by the mirage see water. Okay, where is this? You have now come too close to the object. Where is the self? It's nowhere to be seen. Besides the 6 elements, keeping aside the 6 elements, nothing's left there as a self. Okay, stay this experience for a while. Now bring back the 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements is the person? None. Keeping aside the 6 elements, where's the self? Nothing is left there as a self. So from the object, these are only 2 options. Either these 6 elements to be the self, or different from the 6 elements to be the self. None of the 2 is true. So therefore from the object, there's nothing there as a self. Stay in this experience. So from the object, there's nothing as a self. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, imagine that you slowly come out of this practice. Imagine that you slowly come out of this practice. Again, the self comes back. No doubt there's appearance happening. The appearance of the self is coming. But from the object, you are dead sure. You are 100% sure that the self does not exist from the object. But on the subject, there's appearance happening there. So it's just a mere appearance there. Nothing from the object. This is known as the mere appearance, like a dream. Dream with the mere appearance happening to your mind, which is projected by your mind. Even this mere appearance of the self is projected by your mind. It's just what is known as a purely subjective self, totally empty of objective existence. Okay. From the object, what is there? Besides six elements, what is there? Nothing is there as a self. Stay in this experience. This amazing experience. What's the benefit of this experience? Benefit of this experience is twofold. One, seeing the empty side. Just as the self is empty and you feel a tickling sensation, a goosebumps, a tinge of fear, a tinge of joy in some cases, a profoundly tranquil experience. If it does happen to you, you're very lucky, fortunate. If it does not, don't worry. Just continue with this study, reflection, meditation, emptiness. You will eventually experience that, and you will see the wonder of this profound experience, that only panacea to get rid of all the mental ailments, mental sickness. Just as self disappears in this experience, all the miseries, sickness, aging, death, tension, coronavirus, fear of coronavirus, and so forth, all these miseries, when you subject them to the same analysis, they will also disappear. They do not disappear. They disappear, meaning under this ultimate analysis, they do experience, they do exist on the subjective conventional analysis, but on the ultimate analysis, they disappear, which means from the object, nothing's there to affect you. Wow, that's amazing. Stay in this experience of the ultimate analysis, where all the miseries dissolve. That's when all the mental disturbance stops. When the mental disturbance stops, the peace is born in you, peace dawns in you. And this is absolute peace. Aspiration to seek this experience of the absolute peace, on the basis of experience of emptiness, this is known as the profound experience of renunciation, this most refined understanding of renunciation. And today, we've generated this. Okay, slowly come out of this practice. Come out of this practice of renunciation. Slowly come out of this. Just take a few seconds of gap before we switch to the bodhicitta practice. Okay, ready for the bodhicitta practice? Okay, for the bodhicitta practice, we're going to do it on the basis of the four immeasurables, the practice of the four immeasurables, and to be supplemented or complemented by the bodhicitta aspiration. Otherwise, when you're by yourself, on your own, then better to do with the four immeasurables is going to be like a preliminary practice, and then you complement this. The main practice should be, on the bodhicitta practice, the two methods. Either you do the sevenfold method to generate bodhicitta, or the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others, or both. That's up to the individual. And this one thing, here in group, we'll do the four immeasurables, and then and I'm happy that I got some messages from my friends that today they did the bodhicitta practice. Some of them might have done both methods, and some maybe one of them. And yeah, that's so good to hear. I'm so pleased. Thank you. Okay, so now we will do the four immeasurables in group. Because of the constraint of time, we'll do the four immeasurables and then complement by the bodhicitta. Are you ready? Given that this practice is the main stem, the main body of the Bodhisattva's practice, let us invoke the blessings of all Buddhas Bodhisattvas. Let us invoke all Buddhas Bodhisattvas, so loving, so compassionate towards you and all the sentient beings, and your two parents, your children, your family members, and all sentient beings, including the difficult people, particularly the difficult people around you. And all sentient beings, those who passed away because of the coronavirus, those who are badly affected by the coronavirus, all those who are affected and who live in the fear of coronavirus, and all sentient beings with us. Likewise, any kind of disease, pandemics, any kind of the problems of the hunger, thirst, fear, famine, and so forth. Just bring all of them, all the sentient beings, the beings and the hell beings, the hungry ghosts, the spirits, the god and goddesses, the animals, the insects, human beings, everyone with you. And you are given the opportunity to them to practice this and eventually to activate the seed of bodhicitta, activate the seed of the Buddha nature, and the force of bodhicitta will make this seed become flourished into the Buddhahood, so that everybody is liberated to become fearless and with infinite happiness. Okay, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes for happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Okay, for information, some of these practices may seem to be so superficial, it doesn't matter. This is how we begin. Just imagine practicing the music. Initially, no music coming out. It's only through imitating the teachers, how they move their fingers. Only then you practice it like this, and from starting with the superficiality, eventually become very natural and automatic. So this is how we have to practice. Okay, I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Causes of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of bodhicitta. The Buddha's Bodhisattvas witnessing the remake is such a courageous commitment. They're intensely happy and proud of you. The way the mother feels after all these many years of hardships. The eldest daughter, age 12, and the eldest son, age 11, two of them come to the mother, telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. We're already grown up. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of all our siblings. We're already grown up. And you have done so good to us. You love us so much." The mother could not believe her eyes and ears, with tears rolling down her cheeks. After all these many years of her challenges, of the challenges in bringing up her children, and today the very loving daughter, the very loving son, come to tell the mother of this courageous commitment. This is exactly what all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They are so happy and proud of what you're doing today. This happiness and pride that they feel towards you for you taking this courageous commitment, invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send forth nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies and beings of yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of sentient beings of yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all of the sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consisting of the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude, along with the offshoots in the form of all the gross afflictions and the contaminant karmas and external factors such as coronavirus and so forth. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send forth nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all human sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies and beings yours frees the beings from all the miseries and the cause of miseries. And you witnessing such a miraculous happiness towards all the human sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from the happiness and the cause of happiness that beings are endowed with. May all my dear sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that the beings are endowed with. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that the beings are endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the make such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their omniscient minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies and beings yours stabilizes the happiness and the causes of happiness the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miraculous happiness towards all the human sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment with some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the omniscient minds to send forth nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars and the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all of the dear sentient beings, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all of dear sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all dear sentient beings. This unconditional love is the basic fabric, the fundamental fabric for us to generate bodhicitta and eventually to become Buddha for the benefit of all dear sentient beings. This is so precious experience. Abide in this experience for a while, imagining that you're piercing through the eyes of each of the dear sentient beings, reassuring them that I'm there, I'm with you, have no fear, I'll take care of you. towards the fearlessness and towards the state of ultimate happiness. And each one of them feel themselves so special in your eyes. With this mind, with folded hands, let us make a bodhicitta commitment, so precious commitment, together 3 times with me. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Stay in this, abide in this experience, the most beautiful mind of the bodhicitta for a while. And slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean white moon disk, 1 inch or 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting at your heart. It's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all human sentient beings. But obviously the question is, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, Buddhahood will not come out of it. But I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which the oil will come out of that. Likewise, I have a Buddha nature inside me. If there's Buddha nature, how come that it has never become manifested since time immemorial till now? Yes, that's true. Till now, I've been so stupefied by these 2 demons. I've been bullied. I've been deceived by these 2 demons: self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. And today, I'm disillusioned by these 2 demons because I'm encountering with the very precious teaching of the Buddha. I'm so lucky today that I feel that I'm disillusioned by the 2 demons. I'm not going to promote. I'm not going to support these 2 demons. I'm going to just say no. I'm going to exterminate the 2 demons. How? By introducing counter force. What counter force? The wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let us quickly retreat the experience of the emptiness, meditative emptiness, which we did as the 3rd seal, as a part of the 4 seals. Everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay. Yourself, how does it appear? So objectified there. The 6 elements. Go into 6 elements. Element earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Each of the 6 elements, they have their own functions. They're busy in their own functions. They are totally different entities from each other. There's nothing there as one unit. And none of these 6 elements is me. Okay, then different from the 6 elements. Keeping aside 6 elements, nothing is there as me. Now being too close to the object, I don't see anything from the object. 6 elements are not the self. No different from 6 elements is self. Then where's the self there from the object? Nothing is there from the object itself. Okay, it disappears. What I earlier saw is so objectified, objective self, it disappears. Stay in this experience, it is not there. Slowly transform this most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of your heart. Okay, amazing. Now you have the moon disk, symbolizing the conventional bodhicitta, to eradicate the self, to combat the self-centered attitude, and the Vajra, the ultimate bodhicitta, the direct experience of emptiness, complemented by the bodhicitta of the Arya Bodhisattvas. So that is the final antidote to overcome this self-grasping ignorance and all these subtle stains. Is amazing. Now that with this, I'm guaranteed that I'm going to be fearless because of the wisdom of emptiness, and I'm going to be having the infinite happiness because of the wisdom of emptiness complemented by the wisdom of complemented by bodhicitta, the two bodhicittas. And yes, you are very lucky, but what about your parents? What about your children? What about all the dear sentient beings? That's very true. Just imagine that a mother, you're the mother, and your child was so tender, vulnerable young child, acutely suffering from terminal illness. What is your feeling like? So pain, so much of love. And the pain of seeing the child terminally ill. So this is the intensity of the love that you feel towards all demonstrated beings. This intensity of love and compassion that you feel towards beings, invoke the Vajramuni in your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Motivated by intense compassion and love, you share this set of the Vajra moon that radicated from your Vajramana heart, to share one set of the Vajra moon with your mother at the heart, one set with the father at his heart, one set with each one of your children, your family members, with each of the sentient beings in your place, respective place, wherever you are now, the animals, insects, hungry ghouls, hell beings, the spirits, god and goddesses, all, everyone around you, all sentient beings around you, and everyone in this Milky Way galaxy, and the entire universe. Amazing. This is what we have never done before. Had it been the case that we practiced this since several lifetimes ago, today, the two demons will have no room in you. And today, you are the full awakened one. You are the most fearless person. You have the infinite happiness to share the same with all the sentient beings. And never mind. It's amazing. Yes. Let us not forget that all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, right from the beginning of the ceremony today here, right from the beginning, all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they directed their attention towards you. Yes. Why not we invite all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the guests, to be the witness to undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. So, as a gesture requesting all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the guest and the witness, along with all the sentient beings, let us all stand up, and even those who are doing online, see if you can stand up to make prostrations to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas in front of you, visualizing that you are accompanied by all the sentient beings. 3 prostrations. Okay, just if you can sit on your right knees, if there's a provision, if there's a possibility for you to sit on your right knees, do that. If not, no problem. You can sit in the most comfortable position. So meanwhile, the reflection is more important. Okay, let us turn to page 50 of the book. Page 50 of the book. Okay. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us, and all dear sentient beings, they're joining you. So imagine you as the eldest daughter or the eldest child, and then you're encouraging all the siblings to join you, and your siblings, they are so obedient to you, they have so much of trust, confidence in you, in your love and affection, and then they're so, with great excitement, they join you in this taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. So this is what is happening now. And all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. It is like, just visualize, it is like, say, you as the eldest child, you as the young, very young, tender child, age 5, age 6, and for the first time in your life, you are making a public appearance, and your parents are so excited, and the parents, whatever work that they have for that day, they just leave this work, and they come along with you to be a partner, to be an audience, and waving their hands to you, saying that we are here, we are so proud of you. This is exactly what all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are feeling today. Their whole attention is directed towards you in undertaking this aspiration bodhisattva vow. They are so happy, so excited, and you are encouraging all your siblings to join you, all the sentient beings joining you with great excitement. This is what we are doing, and wholeheartedly. Let us say the first stanza 3 times, and as with I'm going to quickly explain the meaning. The first stanza, that is that because that this is journey, a very important journey. Keeping in mind all the innumerable lifetimes that we experienced before, we most likely we never undertook this aspiration bodhisattva before, and today we're embarking on a very important journey, because that this is a journey is a very important journey, yet we never pursued through this journey. Therefore, we need a great support, and the greatest support that we can think of are the Triple Gem. So the first line says, "I go for refuge in the Triple Gem," and then this journey is the journey of enlightenment, journey of cleansing the mind, for that matter. So this journey, the road must be very clear, and the road is none other than your own mind. So you must be clear of the mental defilements. Best way by which to do so is by confessing the negativities individually. So that's the second line. And then the road is clear, but if the car does not have the fuel, again, you cannot undertake the journey. So the car should have enough fuel. This car is none other than your own mind, and the fuel is the merit accumulation. The best way by which to accumulate the enormous merit within the short span of time, in the easiest way, is by rejoicing in the virtues of all the beings. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Now the road is clear, and the car is enough fuel. What kind of journey you're going to undertake? The journey of enlightenment, journey of Buddhahood. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart, which means that I'm going to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Okay, let us say this wholeheartedly 3 times. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, so because that this is going to take some time, so if you feel pain, then you can sit in a most comfortable position. Okay, so next 2 stanzas is the main ceremony. You invoke the Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to behave to us, and this is what all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas they are doing now. And the 2 stanzas, the first stanza is pertaining to the Buddhas. How the Buddhas, many lifetimes, they were as ordinary as what we are today. In many cases, worse than us. But today they have become Buddhas. And not only they, and then they are able to benefit enormous amount of beings. How are they able to do that? Due to 2 factors. One, the motivation, with a very strong motivation of bodhicitta. They generate very strong bodhicitta, and then to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, they engage in the bodhisattva practices, like 6 perfections, 10 perfections. Okay, if this is how the Buddhas, they become so perfected today and be able to benefit infinite number of beings, or also follow the footsteps I will also generate a very strong bodhicitta. Second stanza says, I will also generate a very strong bodhicitta and to materialize this aspiration of bodhicitta, I will also engage in the bodhisattva practices. Okay, this is what I'm going to say for 3 times. And in the third repetition, when you say the last 2 lines where it says, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices, imagine that you receive the estimate bodhisattva vow and just feel the tremendous, incredible joy of having received this. Okay, 3 times together. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Just feel the joy over having received the aspiration bodhisattva vow. We are very, very, very fortunate, amazingly fortunate, amazingly fortunate. Just imagine that today, what you did today, that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like your parents, all these many years, the school principal only comes with complaint to the mother, and the mother always feels so embarrassed. And today, the school principal coming, escorted by her, the staff, and again the mother is apprehensive. Again, what my daughter, what my son might have done, something wrong. And this time is slightly different. The school principal comes with a smile, so much of courtesy, respect. And the mother, why? And any complaint about my daughter and son? They scream, no. Today, I came here to give you the good news that for this year, your daughter and your son, 2 of them, appointed as the best students of this school. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears for the first time, all these many years, only hearing bad things about the 2 children. And today, hearing something so beautiful, so beautiful. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. All these innumerable lifetimes, we've been only engaging in negativities, something which brings which brings sadness to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, embarrassment to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, while they expect us doing something good, while they expect us to do virtues so that we will not suffer. But today is very different. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they feel so proud, so happy over what you did today. Having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva, they are so happy, so proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the Vajra moon, the full-fledged form, in their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. Because of this intense love and affection towards you and all demon sentient beings, these Vajra moon, the full-fledged form of Vajra moons, replicas of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, in barrage, like rain shower, they descend. They descend to merge with the one that you visualize in your heart, become non-dual with the one that you visualize in your heart, stabilized and blessed. Likewise, in barrage, all these replicas of Vajra moon from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that we visualize to the heart of the mother, at the heart of your father, at the heart of each one of your children, your family members, the human beings, the animals, the insects, the spirits, hungry ghosts, hell beings, God and goddesses, everyone is amazing. Of all the gifts that you can think of making to the sentient beings, this is the greatest gift. And today you have gifted this to all the beings. And of all the offering that you can think of to make to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, this is the greatest offering. The Buddha said that one moment of great compassion is far what excels the merit of you having offered the whole universe filled with the precious gems to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. If this is the case, what I mentioned of having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva vow today on this auspicious day of the Buddha's day of the miracle, and today you did it. This is the greatest offering that you can think of making it, and today you made it. And this is the greatest meaning of your life, and today you extracted this meaning, you have given this meaning to your life. How wonderful, how fortunate we are, each one of us. And this is all happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, along with all the emerald sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. Just please sit comfortably. Okay, now we are on page 51. So this is indeed a great opportunity for us to accumulate so much merit within a short span of time on this auspicious day, on the holy day of the Buddha's performance of the miracles. And so this is a great opportunity. And we have made the meaning out of, extracted meaning out of our life. And how to make this that we're as fortunate as this time in the future lifetimes. So for that matter, to connect us to the next, there are 2 things. One is to connect us to this incredible practice of bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness in the next life. Once connected, then to rigorously engage in these 2 practices. So oftentimes some people are never connected. If you're not connected in the first place, then what do you do? There's no mention of the practice. And then some people, they are connected, but they don't feel the rigorous practice. They don't feel the urge to do this rigorous practice, which means that something's wrong. So, whereas in our case, the very rigorous practice that we did today, in order to make this continue this practice in the future lifetimes, for that we have to be connected with this, number 1. Once connected, then rigorously engage in this practice. 2 things. For the connection, we have to include that in the form of very powerful prayer to connect. And once connected, then to the second part, to rigorously engage in it. For that matter, we have to, in this life, we have to say the practice invoking the intense joy over the practice of bodhicitta and the practice of wisdom and emptiness. So in the next life, so the moment you hear the word bodhicitta, you hear the word the wisdom and emptiness, the joy automatically is triggered inside, and this joy will make you just feel like connecting with it, just feel like practicing it. So this is how these are all the very profound psychology that you find taught in Bodhisattva Shantideva book, Guided Bodhisattva 5, particularly chapter 6. Okay, so to make this connection, let us include this in the form of a very powerful stanza, which is on page 51, the first stanza. Wholeheartedly say this: throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Okay, now to not only be connected, to rigorously engage in the practice of the two bodhicittas, we trigger the joy over having having met with this teaching on the bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness. So we read the following stanzas from Bodhisattva Chantideva's Guided Bodhisattva Life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened a mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now am one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind person discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakening mind has been born within me. Is a supreme ambrosia that overcomes sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is the truth that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions, is the great sun that finally removes the misery, the misty ignorance of the world, is the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all these guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy, and I shall place them in the supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, before we do the end direction prayer, we will turn to page 47, the stanzas which His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the advised us to recite in order to nurture our compassion, to make it profound compassion, not just intense plus profound. So profundity is determined by how profound you see the suffering of sentient beings. Sentient beings are suffering due to three miseries: the suffering change, and the pervasive conditioned suffering. Three sufferings. Of the three, if you only see the first suffering, then the compassion is not that profound. It can be intense, not profound. Then seeing the general compassion on the basis of the second suffering, that is more profound. Then the third one is the most profound. Reading the following stanzas will lead us to understand the third level of this suffering, the suffering pervasive condition, why the beings are suffering because of the self-grasping ignorance, because of not waking up from the sleep of ignorance, by being in the dream of ignorance. Being the dream, as long as we're in the dream, we believe the dream to be real. As long as we believe the dream to be real, the dream is continuously going to affect us. So this being affected by the dream is the meaning of the loss of freedom. No freedom, that you are not affected. Loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. Misery is samsara. This is the real meaning of the final understanding of samsara. So by seeing this, by reading the following stanzas, we have to see how the beings are suffering, failing to see the dream as dream, the dream of the samsara, the dream of the world as dream, and seeing them as so objectively real, and then therefore they engage in killing each other, stabbing each other, cursing each other, fighting with each other, conflicts, all these problems, corruption, terrorism, believing things to be objectively real. So this is the worst of the suffering. Continuously they are being affected by the external factors, seeing them as objectively real. So, and then this is how we see the being suffering. When you realize the being suffering in that form, that compassion becomes then the feeling, the empathy and compassion that you feel towards them becomes very profound. Not only intense, it will become very profound. And then in the end, to free the beings from all three forms of suffering, then you pray that all the beings meet with the teaching on emptiness, and how wonderful that would be if I'm able to reveal this experience of emptiness, the teaching of emptiness, to all the dear sentient beings. So this is the prayer being said in the last stanza of these stanzas, extracted from Bodhisattva Shantideva chapter 9. Wisdom chapter. Okay, let us read it together. And those who do not have this, just listen to what I'm reading. Therefore, sentient beings resemble dreams. Upon analysis, they are like plantain trees. whether they are released or not from sorrow. In the ultimate sense, there is no distinction. What is there to gain and what is there to lose with things that are empty of true existence in this way? Who is there to pay respect and who is there to abuse? From what are pleasure and pain derived? What is there to be happy or unhappy about? When one searches for the ultimate nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? Upon analysis, this world of living beings is found to have no true existence. Therefore, who can die here? What is there to come and what has been? Who are friends and who are relatives? O you who are investigating reality, please recognize, as I've done, that all is just like space. Those who wish to be happy are greatly disturbed by causes for conflict and overjoyed by the causes for pleasure. But not finding happiness, they suffer, and in order to find it, they exert themselves. They argue with others and cut and stab one another. With many wrong deeds, they live in a state of great hardship. Even though they repeatedly come to happy existences and experience much pleasure there, upon dying they fall for a long time into the unbearable suffering of lower realms. Within conditioned existence, the chasms of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of ultimate truth is rare. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of emptiness mutually contradict one another. Yet, if while in conditioned existence one does not realize this ultimate truth, one will continue to experience a limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have little strength for virtue, and one's human life of leisure and endowment is indeed very short. Also, one strives hard to live long and avoid illness. One is concerned with hunger and rest and sleep. One is injured by others and keep meaningless company with the childish. Therefore, this life swiftly passes with no meaning, and it is very hard to find the chance to investigate reality. In this state, where is there the means to reverse this beginnerless habit of grasping a true existence? Furthermore, devils are exerting themselves to cast us into vast unfortunate realms. There are many mistaken paths, and it is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. It will be hard to find the leisure of a human life again, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. It is hard to forsake this flood of afflictions. Alas, sentient beings will continue to suffer. Oh, indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those that drift in the river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the suffering they go through. For example, some ascetics wash themselves again and again, and others repeatedly enter fire, but although they thereby suffer greatly, they assume themselves as being happy. Similarly, those who mistake their suffering for joy and live as though there were no aging or death are first of all killed by the lot of death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into lower realms. When shall I be able to extinguish the pains of those tormented by the fires of suffering with the rain of my accumulated happiness that has sprung from the clouds of my merits? And by having in a manner of not objectifying true existence, intensely I will gather the accumulation merit. When will I be able to reveal emptiness to those who are wretched and sad by the view of true existence? Okay, let us turn to the end dedication prayer, page 52. Let us pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth today, let us pray that His Holiness lives long and that His wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. Also, let us dedicate the merits thus gathered, that all these great seeds of learning, the monastery universities like Sera, Ganden, Depung, and all the other monastery universities from Sakya, Gaikyu, Nyingma, Gelug, from the Chinese tradition, from the Theravada tradition, from any tradition where the teaching of bodhicitta, the teaching of wisdom of emptiness is happening. May these centers, the centers of learning, flourish and thrive in the activities of study, reflection, meditation. And may each one of you, through concerted effort, soon see the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta within you, that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all Dhamma sentient beings from the state of suffering to ultimate happiness, which is Buddhahood. May all the illnesses, such as the illnesses of the coronavirus and all mental anxiety, anguish, pain, and so forth, subside. May all the good things, the crops and so forth, May all the virtues flourish in the minds of all demon sentient beings. May the teaching of the wisdom of emptiness thrive. May the teaching of the bodhicitta, unconditional love and altruism to become Buddha for the benefit of all demon sentient beings, may these teachings thrive in all three times, in all 10 directions, in the minds of demon sentient beings. With this mind, let's turn to page 52. I dedicate this merit thus gathered towards the realization, the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. From my two collections, vast space that have emerged from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, let us recite the Buddha Sacrament mantra 21 times. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. 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 Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. 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 Om Dare Du Dare Dure Swaha. Om Dare Du Dare Dure Swaha. Dure Swaha. Om Dare Du Dare 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 Dure Om Dare Du Dare Dure Swaha. 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 Om Dare Du Dare Dure Om Dare Du Dare Dure Swaha. Om Dare Du Dare Dure Swaha. Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Ma Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Swaha. Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Swaha. Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Swaha. Tiyatha Om Begaze Begaze Maha Begaze Begaze Raza Samungades Swaha. Tiyatha Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Okay, let us seal the virtue accumulated thus gathered with the wisdom of emptiness, so that the virtues will not be destroyed. Okay, quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which we meditated as the third seal. The self, seen as object real, then the six elements, None of the six elements of self, no different from six elements of self. It's just empty. Stay in this as space like emptiness experience. Okay, come out of this experience. Again, the self appears to my mind. Yes, it does appear, but from the object is empty, which means it's purely coming from this. It's a subjective appearance. It's a mere the subjective experience, subjective appearance. This is like an illusion. This is known as illusion like emptiness. Again, just come out of this meditation with the awareness, with the mindfulness that the self and everything's like illusion. It's just like illusion. So with this awareness, we'll slowly start up and we'll stop here. Okay, thank you, each and every one of you, and have a happy, very meaningful, virtuous evening of the Chotrul Monlam. And then before we go to bed, just see how much we can recite the mantra and meditate on emptiness, meditate on bodhicitta. This will be greatly meaningful for all Tibet sentient beings. Okay, thank you. Yeah.